Feudalism was a social and economic system that existed in medieval Europe and other parts of the world. It emerged during the early Middle Ages as a way to organize society in a time of political instability and limited centralized authority. Feudalism revolved around the exchange of land and protection. Lords, who were usually wealthy and powerful individuals, owned large estates of land. They would grant portions of their land, known as fiefs, to vassals in exchange for loyalty, military service, and other forms of support. In return, vassals would swear an oath of fealty to the lord and provide military assistance when needed. This system created a hierarchical structure where each level had its own set of responsibilities and obligations. Peasants, who made up the majority of the population, worked the land and were granted protection by the lords and vassals. In return, they provided a portion of their crops or goods as a form of rent or tax. Feudalism had a significant impact on society. It provided a degree of stability and security during a time when central governments were weak. It allowed for the efficient management of land and resources, which contributed to agricultural productivity. However, it also led to inequalities, as the majority of the population, the peasants, had limited rights and lived under the authority of the nobles. Over time, as central governments grew stronger and societies evolved, feudalism began to decline. The rise of towns and trade, changes in warfare, and shifts in political power all contributed to its eventual demise, giving way to new forms of social and economic organization. King Baldwin of Jerusalem was a significant figure during medieval times due to his role in the First Crusade and his establishment of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. He was born in the late 11th century and became a prominent leader in the Christian efforts to reclaim the Holy Land from Muslim control. It is believed that King Baldwin suffered from leprosy, not letting that stop him. He still went out and fought with his troops. Baldwin's Christian values played a crucial role in his actions and decisions. He was deeply motivated by his faith and the desire to secure and protect the Christian pilgrimage sites in Jerusalem. Baldwin believed that it was his divine duty to establish a Christian kingdom in the Holy Land. His Christian values influenced his interactions with various groups, including other Christian leaders, Muslim rulers, and his own subjects. He demonstrated tolerance and a willingness to cooperate with other Christian leaders, even those from different backgrounds. He also sought alliances with Muslim rulers when it served his goals, showcasing a pragmatic approach that aimed to ensure the stability and security of his kingdom. Baldwin's commitment to his Christian values was evident in his efforts to create a just and orderly society within his kingdom. He promoted religious freedom and allowed Muslims and Jews to practice their faiths alongside Christians. This approach set an example of coexistence and respect for diversity during a time of religious conflict. Baldwin's commitment to his Christian values was evident in his efforts to create a just and orderly society within his kingdom. He promoted religious freedom and allowed Muslims and Jews to practice their faiths alongside Christians. This approach set an example of coexistence and respect for diversity during a time of religious conflict. Baldwin's reign marked an important chapter in the history of the Crusades and the Kingdom of Jerusalem. His actions and leadership, guided by his Christian values, contributed to the establishment of a Christian presence in the Holy Land and had a lasting impact on the medieval world. Raffaello Sanzio, commonly known as Raphael, was a highly significant and influential figure in Renaissance Europe, particularly during the transition from the medieval period to the modern era. Born on April 6, 1483, in Urbino, Italy, Raphael's artistic prowess and unique ability to meld classical ideals with contemporary themes positioned him as one of the leading artists of his time. His works not only showcased his exceptional talent but also reflected his deep-rooted Christian values, which played a significant role in shaping his art and legacy. Raphael's artistic journey began under the tutelage of his father, who was a painter himself. He quickly gained recognition for his remarkable skill, leading him to be apprenticed to Perugino, a prominent artist of the time. Through Perugino's influence, Raphael developed a solid foundation in the techniques of perspective, composition, and the portrayal of human anatomy. As Raphael's career progressed, his art began to embody the ideals of the Renaissance, which sought to revive classical aesthetics and knowledge. His masterful use of color, light, and proportion demonstrated a profound understanding of these principles. Yet, what truly set Raphael apart was his ability to infuse his works with spiritual depth, often drawing inspiration from his Christian faith. Raphael's artistic legacy extended beyond his paintings. His workshop became a hub of creativity, nurturing young talents who would go on to influence the art world themselves. His emphasis on grace, harmony, and spiritual symbolism left an indelible mark on subsequent generations of artists. Tragically, Raphael's life was cut short at the tender age of 37 in 1520. Nevertheless, his enduring impact on the art world and his profound connection to his Christian values continue to resonate to this day. Through his remarkable ability to fuse the sacred and the secular, Raphael not only left behind a rich artistic heritage but also contributed to the cultural and spiritual evolution of medieval Europe during a period of profound transformation. Raphael's devotion to Christianity is evident in his numerous religious paintings. His renowned works, such as the School of Athens, Madonna of the Meadow, and the Transfiguration, are imbued with themes of divine grace, compassion, and the quest for truth. His portrayal of the Madonna and Child exudes a sense of maternal love and purity, reflecting his reverence for the Virgin Mary and the sacredness of motherhood. One of Raphael's most iconic works, The School of Athens, not only showcases his artistic virtuosity but also exemplifies his commitment to incorporating Christian values within a broader intellectual context. This fresco, located in the Vatican's Apostolic Palace, depicts a gathering of ancient philosophers and scholars engaged in philosophical discourse. The work, while celebrating the pursuit of knowledge, is also a testament to Raphael's belief in the compatibility of reason and faith, a notion championed by Christian humanism. The Crusades, a series of military campaigns initiated by Western European Christians in the late 11th to the 13th centuries, hold profound significance in shaping the medieval period and its subsequent developments. These campaigns were marked by both positive and negative impacts, leaving an indelible mark on various aspects of medieval society, culture, and relations between East and West. Positive impacts. 1. Cultural exchange and knowledge transfer. The Crusades facilitated unprecedented cultural exchange between Western Europe and the Middle East. Contact with Islamic civilizations exposed Europeans to advanced knowledge in fields such as science, medicine, and architecture. As Crusaders journeyed through different regions, they brought back valuable insights that contributed to the intellectual and technological progress of the medieval period. 2. Trade and economic growth. The Crusades played a pivotal role in fostering trade between Europe and the East. The establishment of Crusader states in the Levant led to increased commercial activity, as well as the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies. This trade network stimulated economic growth and contributed to the rise of urban centers in Europe. 3. Advancement in military tactics and technology. Participation in the Crusades led to the adoption of new military tactics and technologies by European armies. Exposure to Eastern warfare methods, such as the use of crossbows and siege engines, contributed to the evolution of medieval European warfare, leading to innovations that would influence later military strategies. Negative impacts. 1. Loss of lives and resources. The Crusades resulted in significant loss of life, both among the Crusaders and local populations in the regions they encountered. The scale of violence and destruction caused by the campaigns led to the depletion of human and material resources that could have been directed towards other endeavors. 2. Cultural and religious tensions. The Crusades intensified tensions between Christian and Muslim societies, fostering a legacy of mistrust and animosity that lingers to this day. These conflicts often exacerbated religious and cultural divisions, contributing to a lasting sense of otherness between the East and the West. 3. Political instability and fragmentation. The Crusades had far-reaching political repercussions, both in Europe and the Middle East. In Europe, the demand for resources to support crusading efforts sometimes led to conflicts between monarchs and nobles, further fragmenting political power. In the Middle East, the establishment of crusader states and the constant struggle for control over these territories destabilized the region and contributed to internal conflicts. 4. Persecution and intolerance. The Crusades also saw instances of religious intolerance and persecution, both against non-Christian populations in the East and against certain Christian groups that held differing beliefs. These actions contradicted the ideals of religious harmony and tolerance that were supposed to be central to Christianity. The breakdown of feudalism marked a significant shift towards the end of the medieval period. Several factors contributed to this decline and eventual collapse of the feudal system. 1. Economic changes. As trade and commerce began to flourish, towns and cities grew in importance. This led to the rise of a new class of merchants and artisans who were not bound by the traditional feudal obligations. The development of a money-based economy also weakened the reliance on land-based exchange, which was a central aspect of feudalism. 2. Weakening of central authority. Over time, strong centralized monarchies began to emerge in various regions. Kings and queens sought to consolidate their power and reduce the influence of local lords. This led to a decline in the authority and autonomy of feudal lords, as well as a reduction in their ability to extract resources from the peasantry. 3. Technological advances. Technological innovations, such as improved agricultural techniques and tools, increased agricultural productivity. This reduced the need for a large labor force on feudal estates, leading to a shift away from the traditional manorial system and allowing peasants more freedom to move and seek opportunities elsewhere. Bubonic plague. The devastating impact of the Black Death in the 14th century had a profound effect on the feudal system. The widespread death and labor shortage disrupted the existing social and economic order. Peasants, who were previously tied to the land, gained greater bargaining power as their labor became scarcer. 5. Changing warfare. Feudalism was closely tied to the system of feudal warfare, where lords provided protection in exchange for military service. However, changes in warfare, including the increased use of professional armies and mercenaries, reduced the importance of feudal knights and vassals in military matters. 6. Social mobility and urbanization. As opportunities in towns and cities expanded, peasants and serfs found the prospect of leaving the countryside and seeking better lives more appealing. Urban centers offered the promise of economic and social mobility, undermining the rigid hierarchy of the feudal system. 7. Rise of nationalism. The emergence of national identities and a sense of belonging to larger political entities began to supersede loyalty to individual lords. This shift towards nationalism further weakened the bonds of feudal allegiance. All these factors, combined with the evolving social, economic, and political landscape, contributed to the breakdown of feudalism. While feudalism did not disappear overnight, these changes paved the way for the transition to new systems of governance and social organization that would come to define the modern era. The Renaissance was a remarkable period in European history that took place roughly from the 14th to the 17th century. It was characterized by a revival of interest in art, literature, science, and learning from the classical civilizations of ancient Greece and Rome. The Renaissance marked a shift away from the restrictive and religious-focused thinking of the Middle Ages, promoting a renewed emphasis on human potential, creativity, and individualism. Positive changes brought about by the Renaissance. Artistic achievements. The Renaissance saw the flourishing of art with renowned artists like Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and Raphael creating timeless masterpieces. Their work emphasized realism, perspective, and anatomical accuracy, elevating the standards of artistic expression. Intellectual advancements. Scholars and thinkers of the Renaissance, such as Galileo Galilei and Johannes Kepler, made significant contributions to fields like astronomy, mathematics, and physics. Their discoveries laid the foundation for modern scientific understanding. Humanism and education. Humanism, a key feature of the Renaissance, stressed the importance of human potential and individualism. This led to a renewed focus on education and the humanities, promoting critical thinking, logic, and a broader understanding of the world. Printing revolution. The invention of the printing press by Johannes Gutenberg enabled the widespread distribution of knowledge through books, making information more accessible and contributing to the spread of new ideas. Cultural exchange. The Renaissance fostered cultural exchange and exploration, resulting in the discovery of new lands, the exchange of ideas, and the enrichment of European societies through interactions with other civilizations. Features of the Renaissance that still exist today. 1. Emphasis on individualism. The idea that each individual has unique talents and potential remains a central tenet of modern society, influencing fields such as education, career development, and personal growth. 2. Scientific progress. The Renaissance's emphasis on observation, experimentation, and rational inquiry laid the groundwork for the scientific method, which continues to be a fundamental approach in scientific research. 3. Artistic inspiration. Many artistic techniques and principles pioneered during the Renaissance still influence art and design today, from perspective and visual arts to the use of realistic human anatomy. 4. Cultural heritage. The Renaissance's reverence for classical art and literature has left an enduring legacy in the study and appreciation of ancient cultures, influencing modern art, literature, and architecture. In essence, the Renaissance brought about a cultural and intellectual rebirth that continues to shape modern thought, art, science, and the way we perceive the world around us.